So I do not want anybody to think that one species versus another means somehow that there's good and evil balanced in that manner. It is not balanced in that manner. It is balanced in the manner of the heart.
We have choice. We have a choice.
Yes.
We can be good or evil. You know, that's the freedom that God gave.
That's free will. That's right. You can channel the light. You can channel the dark. That is your prerogative. However, you cannot channel the dark on people unsuspectingly. Anybody, there are whole systems that are evil. The Draconian system is out in the Orion system and the Draco system, okay? And these guys are spread out. They were part of the Sagittarius B, they still are part of the Sagittarius B galaxy, a very young, very immature galaxy, and its life forms are very Jurassic right now. And when it cut into the Milky Way, it cut into all the higher consciousness here. Our divine creator created this, a divine and perfect creation, and so all the beings were nothing but love here. And highly, I mean, they had the intelligence of their creator. That's how intelligent they are. That's why their ships can move forward and backward in time. They can move forward, they can go up and down the realms, in and out of universes, back and forth to galaxies, at the speed of a thought. Okay, at the speed of thought. This is who we're dealing with here, okay? This is who is here to help us. This is actually who we are. But when we incarnate on this planet, we forget all of that so that we can have an experience, a unique experience of feeling vulnerable, feeling like you can die, not knowing who you are and if anything will become of you after you die. It is an illusion, folks. We came here to play a game. We don't need to be mad at anybody, but anybody who wants to continue playing the game of being the bad guys, they have to get off this world and go back into their system. And we have them pinned down everywhere. This system here, the Helios system, is the last system we had to cleanse. And so this is freedom, not just for our particular solar system here, but for our entire galaxy. We have been fighting this war for millions of years. Millions.
Yes.
You guys have, I'm 93 million years old. I was once known as Athena on this planet. And I was partially responsible for what happened in the fall. Our consciousness went down because of Sagittarius B crashing through our sector. It drug us down. And we lost consciousness. We lost it. Slowly, so slowly we didn't even realize it was happening. And so I made a critical error, scientifically speaking, something that I should have known better. Once upon a time I did know better. But I made the mistake. We were trying to get too much electricity for cities that were getting too populated. And the pyramid systems that we were using were based on the ley line of this planet, which is based on the crystal structures underneath the lithosphere. And when we overstressed that system, we cracked all of that, and we lost both Earth's moons. And since we had created the humans that were here long before the Draconians came here and made their little hybrids for slaves, these were our children, and I was devastated. We were all devastated. I lost half my family because by then we were mortal. And we were stupefied at the death. It was unthinkable. And we've been trying to figure out how to make it stop ever since. How to get this system back up in consciousness.
You know, I was told I have memories of being a scribe in Egypt. I have memories of being a warrior in the steppes of Scotland. I remember wearing a kilt.
Good, you've accessed your akashic record in your DNA. That means that you have more pistons firing on your DNA. They had used technology to interfere with our DNA when they genetically engineered us, and they caused only 2 of our strands to function. When we have many more strands than that, depending on what species we are, I'll have a total of 42 strands, pistons firing next year on 12/12. I currently have 32. And what's been happening on these key dates like that, you know, 999, 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, you know, all those numbers are not accidental. They're coded for alignments in the galactic, and along the Milky Way's tropical side here, which we are coming in full alignment with now, and then we're going to pass right through it and enter the galactic north. And in the galactic north is Federation space. In the galactic south is Confederation space. And in between the two, we have a 40,000 40 million year buffer zone called the neutral zone. Sound familiar, folks? Is this starting to sound like science fiction to you? Well, guess what? A lot of humans have been telepathic for a long time and didn't know it. And they've been picking up on the truth and writing it as sci-fi and making movies and books out of it.
That's right. I read, before I was 14 years old, I read every science fiction book in the library. I read Robert A. Heinlein, I read Edgar Rice Burroughs, I read Isaac Asimov.
The more recent stuff is the best stuff. They recast the Klingons as having these ridges on the head and somewhat like a crocodile. And they were vicious people. Those are what the Draconians look like. That was a pretty good rendition. Worf was.
You know, why would anybody? I was also told. I went to a psychic reading, when I was about 20 years old, and what he told me then, pretty interesting. I had the number of children. He said. But he also said, this is your last involuntary incarnation. And I found that to be pretty interesting. You know, I mean, that means I can come back, but I can come back, but it'll be, I'm not put back like I was this time.
Right. See, that's what happens when you clear all your karma, is that you don't have to incarnate again. The Divine Family has made each and every one of us incarnate over and over and over again until we lose all of our affiliation, the cultural styles of the Draconians and Reptilians. We've learned to be thieves, we've learned to be rapists, we've learned to be murderers, we've learned to be cheats, we've learned to be greedy, we've learned all kinds of nasty stuff from those individuals. And we have to purify ourselves from those inclinations before we are done incarnating here over and over again. We can't get into the galactic north until we've overcome it. Okay, so those of us who have lost the viciousness and who walk in love and compassion and concern for their fellow man, not just themselves. The other ones, they're selfish, they're self-centered. They look out for themselves and maybe just their own. But they don't look out for anybody else except themselves and their cronies. And the rest of us, they don't give a shit about. And me, I care about everybody. I hope that every Draconian and Reptilian and the offspring of them that think they're human and they're really not, I hope every one of them purifies their hearts and their minds really, really soon, because we're going to cross that divide next year. That's the deadline. That's it. There is no more time on this. And so anybody who doesn't want to die on the crossing, we'll remove them to another planet if they want to keep playing the game and they want to keep incarnating. We're not going to enforce this on anybody. But the ones that remain are just going to go into the light. The game is over, and they don't have to incarnate again either. They just go into the light. They go back to their Creator. They go back into divine love, and they can look back on this whole experience, and they'll decide if they want to incarnate again and play this game. You know what? Most of them aren't happy with it either. They can't trust one another. They make one pair bond for life because they can't trust anybody. And if you meet one person of the other sex that you think you can trust, you bond to that person and you never let them go. And that's what Hillary Clinton did with Bill Clinton. She's a Draconian, a very high rank in the Confederation.
Uncle on my chat room wants to know, when did you realize you were fully conscious?
I'm becoming conscious more and more every day, okay? And what happens is it comes in fits and spurts for me, because I don't have all my DNA activated yet. So what I do to compensate for my DNA not firing on all pistons is I smoke a little bit of marijuana. That increases, it amplifies the frequencies of the energies that are available here. We have very high cosmic radiation passing through our system right now. And it should be killing everything on the planet, but it isn't, because we're just meeting that frequency and riding with it. Some of the animals that are dying can't adjust to the frequency fast enough, and they're dying species specific because of that. Somebody also announced that there's a weapon that is based off of this doctor a long time ago. He made the equivalent of an electron scanning microscope that could see bacteria and viruses. It was quite incredible, quite remarkable, but it was kept hush-hush. He stood there and he radiated harmonic frequencies at these little buggers until he finally found the harmonic that was the same as theirs, because two like waves will cancel one another out. Those energies just block, stop, and everything cease and desist. And so he did that, and he cataloged all of this. But the guy proved that harmonic frequency at a specific range can kill. So, and very specific to one single kind of organism. And so somebody said that we have taken, the shadow government has taken that technology from that guy, and they ruined his reputation, and he never got the funding that he needed to cure disease using sound waves. This was, I'm telling you, this was a long time ago. I forget, like in the 1930s or so. And so... that
was, are you talking about Raymond Rife?
No, this is another fella by the name of Wheeler, and there's another guy by the name of Miller that did something pretty remarkable too. But let me finish this other story. So they figured it out, and so now they can kill any species they want to with a sound frequency, and they were planning on using it on the humans. That's what HAARP is for.
Well, isn't that exactly what happened up in Arkansas, right along the New Madrid Fault?
They're saying it was a test of that weapon, and that the phosgene gas, the mustard gas, was just a cover for the real weapon that we really need to be seriously concerned about. I just will tell everybody, however, that the Federation has the capability of shutting HAARP down, and has done so. So apparently these guys have some kind of field weapon, something that could be moved around and cloaked, that they can use locally, because the big HAARP arrays are not operating right now. The Federation has those shut down.
It has, there is a mission in space right now. They put up a new type of space shuttle that can stay up longer than 16 days. This one can stay up for almost a year. They got a crew on it, and they have a military weapon that is top secret, that they're not even talking about. Nobody's talking about it.
Well, I know that the Federation has when they decided that they were going to step in on this situation, they got real serious about it. On November the 8th, there was the Third World War was supposed to start. It was called Operation Black Swan. What these guys didn't calculate for is that we had an Operation White Swan ready for them, and this is a checkmate. This little game has been getting played for a long time, and it's been a dangerous game because they have had a gun to the humans' heads for quite some time. We've been negotiating with them every way we knew how. We gave them technology, and they turned around and they used it for war instead of peace. They lied to us. And so we've learned that we can't trust any of them. And so we had to incarnate here to become citizens and to take and bring our higher intelligence and our higher consciousness here because they had dumbed down the human population so horribly that these guys can't think for themselves. They literally are sheeple. They're unintelligent, they're gullible, and they're easily fooled. And they don't look at the facts, and when you tell them the facts, they want to bury their head in the sand. And the ones that really want to bury their heads in the sand the most, those are the guys that want to keep playing the game. So let's just leave them alone. You know, they're going to see what's happening around them, and they may change their mind about the game they're playing, but, you know, I mean, the higher consciousness is infusing this territory regardless of what people want, and events are going to unfold in front of everybody's face in such a dramatic way that nobody will be able to be in denial about what's real and what is not. And so the choices will get clear for everybody soon enough. What I have been told by the Divine Family is that later today we're going to see something that's going to be of the UFO nature. And it will be significant enough to make the attention of the mainstream media. And what's going to happen is that you have different interests represented on this planet. The gray aliens, the reptilians, and the draconians. They all have the different vested interests here. They all have a stake to claim. And they're about to duke it out with one another because they used to work for Lucifer, who had everybody working on one single plan. But I pulled the plug on Lucifer on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, when I realized who I was and what codes I was carrying, and I launched them. And my Divine Family heard those codes, and on behalf of a human being, I called the game off. This is game, set, match, folks, and you're about to see the results of that. These guys are going to start shooting at each other. They have primitive laser weapons, and you're going to see some chasing going on as they start trying to reduce one another's numbers so that the last guy standing gets the humans. This is what we're going to see, okay? And so this is not going to last long, however, because the Federation is going to make short work of it. However, they are going to let it happen so that the humans can see what's the truth, and get over their idiocy.
I hope that happens. I think they'll just kill each other. They're so entwined into this killing and murdering.
Oh yeah, they're really self-centered. You know, like I said, they're lower life forms. They belong to Sagittarius B. They got our intelligence, which means they got our technology, and they drag some of us down, all the way from the Lyran system out to the Orion system. This has been going on for millions of years. Archangel Michael and I split up when this thing started, and I haven't seen him in quite a long time. And he's going to be here at the end of February, somewhere early March. Depending on how things play out down here on the ground. Some schedules have been getting moved up, actually. A lot of what I've been doing and a lot of what other people have been doing have been changing the timeline. They keep beseeching Prime Creator to be able to intervene more on our behalf, and the more that people like me tell people like you that we can do that and do it, the more we move the timeline forward. So the time of the end of all this crap is approaching us faster and faster. And it's a marvelous thing to behold. This little technological wonder called the WebBot, it reads human consciousness and alien consciousness alike. It can't tell the difference. And so, and at first when I became telepathic, I couldn't tell the difference either. And so the WebBot and I were reporting on things that were supposedly going to be these horrible disasters, like these big earthquakes and tsunamis and all this kind of crap. And what it was the thought transmission of the dark cabal, and they're planning to use HARP. But what I did not know, and what the WebBot didn't pick up on, is that the Federation shut HARP down, and they weren't able to do any of those things they had intended. And so all these predictions about all these horrible things happening have failed because the Federation has locked down some of their technology.
All right. By the way, I've got one thing that I had planned to do, and it's called libertyvillages.org. I feel like if we go back to our godly existence, raising our own energy, raising our own food, not genetically modified crap that the rats won't eat.
That's right.
And you know, then if you've got a village, it can be an all-white village, it can be an all-Mexican village, it can be an all-Chinese village, it can be an all-Jewish village. I'll stop at the Jewish village to get my lox and bagels. I'll stop off at the
Oh, we won't be separated at all. It won't be like that at all. We'll be. I mean, we'll have different cultures that will be aligned with one another. But you know, yeah, it's just open doors everywhere. Everybody will be at peace, and it'll be pretty free flowing, and everything will be in balance with nature entirely. The beings on this planet, the things that grow here, everything. Unbeknownst to all of us, the Federation has been transmuting a lot of the toxins in the water, the air, and on the ground. And there is some continual spraying going on, and so there are areas that are still very dangerous right now. But realize that the capability of transmuting these toxins is pretty. It's instantaneous, actually. They just come down and they shine the right harmonic and restore everything to health. So
kind of like the crop circles. They just.
Well, no. Well, the crop circles are made in a different manner altogether, and that's a different phenomenon. What I'm talking about is I have on video, and it's up on my Cole's a Kick YouTube channel, of a starship, one of our light ships coming down. It was posing as the sun, but it came down close to the ground, and you could feel it heating up. And it happened to be a hazy day, so you could see the shadow of it getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then moving off to the east a little bit, and then get smaller and smaller and smaller as it pulled away, and the day got cool again. And it did this twice a day, every day, starting from the day after I fired Lucifer.
All right, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. We're out of time here.
Recording has been completed.
I want to have you back on my show at the date that we talked about.
Okay.
And I appreciate you coming on today, but hold on just a moment here.
What's that?
I said hang on just a second here.
Are we going to conference call with somebody?
Yeah, we're on the conference call with we were on a conference call with Blog Talk Radio, with Crusade Radio, with TalkShoe, and you.
Oh, wow.
And so I finally hung up on everybody here.
How big is your audience? How many people hear you?
I have no idea.
You don't count? These things tell you what your statistics are.
Well, I know that on Blog Talk, I have 15 to 20 people listening live. I have several hundred that download the show, but on TalkShoe and these other stations, I don't know who's listening. I don't know how many people are listening. I don't know who's reading. I don't know anything. I know I'm not making the money that I should make. I'm not getting the audience I should make. I'm blocked in every library. I'm blocked in Intel. I'm blocked in Intuit. If you try to go see my site in a library, they tell you it's a porno site.
Oh, I know, they're saying that about my number too. And so guys call me and I tell them who I am. They're always quite surprised. But the actual site that I use is operational. They go on forums and say that I'm a sex phone operator, and they say that I used to be a porn star because I put up a video where there was a pole at this bar. I went on a radio show locally, and they had this young intern, and the two older guys were kind of teasing the guys, you know, and said that, you know, asked them if he would take me out on a date if they paid for it. And so I went out on this date with this intern, and I took my camera and I filmed it. And this little bar here in Roseville has a pole in it, you know. And so women were goofing around on this thing and pretending they were pole dancers, and we were all idiots, and it was just being goofball, right? I'm not a pole dancer. I look ridiculous, but I don't care. You know, it was fun, and so I'm not embarrassed about anything. You know, I'm just me. And so I got video of me dancing with this young guy and having a great time, and I mean, I dressed to the nines for this kid, man. He told the whole audience. He was asked how I looked when he showed up to pick me up, and he went, "Oh, smoking." And I was, and I put that video up on the internet, and so now they're telling people that I used to be a stripper or some stupid thing like that, a porn star and all kinds of shit. Oh, the porn star thing is because I put some pictures of me, semi-nudes, getting into and out of some negligees. Pretty fucking hot rockin' pictures too, and those are up on the internet. Some of them are even playing on YouTube. They didn't get them all down, and you got to rent them to see them. But that's my entire career. A buddy of mine came over and took those pictures because these Christian biddies kept bitching about my cleavage and the shirts that I wear. And I shop at expensive stores. I'm wearing Cachet. I'm wearing stuff from Nordstrom's, you know. I mean, I'm wearing what is modern. And these women were fucking capping on me for showing my tits and trying to get attention. And it finally pissed me off. But actually, I didn't even mind that. I would just delete their comments, to tell you the truth. Let me back up. But I did keep them in my mind, because what would happen is every time they bitched about my breasts, some man would say, "Her breasts are beautiful. Stop it. Stop complaining. We want to see more, not less."
Well,
and I like, you know what? I love a lovable lech. I really do. And I know I have a great body. And I love that men love my body, and I dress it to be admired, because the physical body is a beautiful thing. And so I thought it was a good time to make a really good point, and I accommodated those men.